Hi, Servus. Wollte nur mal Hallo sagen aus Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hello and welcome to Out and About. I'm Diane Gonzalez. The capital city is ready to welcome spring with a full slate of events all around the city. And joining me to talk about it is Jeff Mall, who is with Visit Lincoln. I got it.
Visit Lincoln. So
Visit Lincoln.
You got my name right. I'm going to change things up a little bit. Typically, we're out and about. Now, I'm hearing you were out and about, and now you're out in a boot.
I am out in a boot.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's going on? You okay?
I was not ice skating, although it may have looked like I was ice skating. I slipped on the ice and I broke my ankle, and I'm now in a lovely boot.
Oh my gosh, that looks comfortable.
So it's not that bad.
Cozy.
I've never broken a bone.
How'd you do with it?
I'm okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, please keep Diane in your thoughts and prayers that the boot goes away soon.
I will be out and about without the boot soon.
That's what we want.
I promise.
Great stuff.
Well, I want to start today by talking about how Visit Lincoln is kicking off spring with a brand new video that kind of showcases some of the things that make Lincoln really great.
You know, we've always been challenged with trying to find a product that we can put out in other markets. You know, if you turn on TV today in Lincoln, Nebraska, you're seeing advertisements from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Branson, and Kansas City, and Des Moines to a certain extent. We really wanted that theater quality wow video that we could use to elevate the tourism culture in Lincoln. And we have it. It is just the most amazing and warm. It gives you chills every time you watch a type of tourism video. So we're excited to have that product ready to go.
I saw it on Facebook.
Good.
First.
Good.
So
did you like it?
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to show that here fairly soon, sometime before, during, but not before, during or after the show. So yeah.
Yeah, it was an important part of it, and I have to thank Andy with Q Motion. They are the production company that put it together and worked with our team and made sure we had every angle and every flavor and feel of the community in the video.
Yeah, it made me hungry.
It did. It was a lot of fun.
Well, let's chat about March Madness in the capital city. We're taping the first Friday in March, so the girls' basketball tournament is underway, and then the boys are next weekend.
Girls Day basketball started on Wednesday. It's a 4-day format, both weekends, girls this weekend and boys next week. Pinnacle Bank Arena, the Devaney Center, and we're playing a third-place game or two at one of the Lincoln Public Schools facilities on a Saturday. And for this girls' weekend, we'll be out at Lincoln Northwest High School in Northwest Lincoln, and we'll have a different LPS school the following week. But great 2 weeks of pageantry and emotion, and we just really believe that our community is just so well suited to host these tournaments.
And right after March Madness comes the spring game, the Husker spring game. Tickets are now on sale for the game, which is on April 22nd.
Yeah, that is featuring Lincoln's new tourism ambassador, Coach Matt Rule, who spends a lot of time in the community enjoying things and telling stories. But there's a new buzz this year. I mean, we've been through this a few times, but I really feel good about what Coach Rule and the team and the coaches have put together, and can't wait to see the game.
And since we're talking about athletics, I have to ask you what you think of Husker volleyball at Memorial Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow. You know, we were talking in the office today about the overs and unders, about how many thousands of people we think we're going to get into Memorial Stadium. We know we're going to break the record, but that is a huge deal for the community, huge deal for Husker volleyball. But I also want to remind people that there's a 6-day stretch there where we're doing the Gravel World National Championships out on our gravel roads in Lincoln and Lancaster County. We have a huge concert at Pinnacle Bank Arena. We have the Guardians of Freedom Air Show, and then this thing called a volleyball event at Memorial Stadium in 6 days.
Wow.
This community is going to be lit. And that's what the kids say, lit.
When I first read about it in the paper, I'm like, what? And then I'm like,
oh yeah,
that's crazy. But I think the newspaper said a good kind of crazy, right?
It is going to be a good kind of crazy. And to have 3 other state colleges involved with the University of Nebraska is a pretty cool deal too.
Now, if you've got sports fever, there's always the Lincoln Stars. Well, not always. Their season ends next month, I think. But
coming up quick.
But coming up in the next month, 3 chances to see the in-state rival Omaha Lancers right here in Lincoln.
Yeah, 10th and 18th of March, the 24th versus the Sioux City Musketeers, the 29th Tri-City Storm, a couple times with Waterloo, and wrapping up towards the end of the season, April 8th with the Lancers. Always a good time. Stars are playing good hockey on a little bit of a slide right now, but I'm thinking they're going to come out of it this coming month.
All right, let's switch over now to some non-sports events. Talk about the return of the Thunderbirds. This is a Native American celebration celebrating thunder for providing rebirth and rain. Indian Center is partnering with Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center to have a big event for something for everybody with this.
It's migratory bird time, and this is a great story and chance to celebrate. The Many Moccasins Dance Troupe will be there, a live bird show. The Raptor Conservation Alliance, Indian tacos available
Don't forget
for
the Indian
purchase.
tacos, yes.
This is going to be a lot of fun at the Indian Center. If you haven't taken your family to the Indian Center, there's a lot to learn and be a part of, and this is a good opportunity to do that.
All right. Have you been to many yard sales? Are you a yard sailor?
I'm not.
Well, this is a yard sale that we're going to talk about there where everything is free.
Okay.
You can bring things to give away, or
Okay.
you can just go to get free things. And they do this occasionally at Sang Park, which is 49th and St. Francis there in University
Yeah.
Place. So, and it's also a good idea for the environment. You keep stuff out of the landfill by, giving it to somebody who wants it.
Who knew your trash could be someone else's treasure?
That's true.
And do you know how many times I see people when the garbage goes out at the end of the night, people going around, driving around looking for treasures in people's trash? This is an cool event that you're talking about, and keeps things out of the landfill, like you're saying.
Yeah, if you've got something that you don't want anymore, instead of setting it on the curb, take it to Sang Park.
Yeah.
And I love the name Sang Park.
Pretty cool place.
Yes, it is.
It's a dedication to a pretty cool woman.
Yes,
Love it.
Mayor Colleen. All right, also environmental education going on at Morrill Hall with Investigate Saturday Science Lab.
Yeah, they just have an immersive educational opportunity each year, and this is great hands-on activities that surround many green energy options for us to explore, talking about the environment, talking about the landfill, and just being as green as we can.
Another state museum, the Nebraska History Museum. We talked about this a little bit last month, but we want to give another shout out to the Smithsonian exhibition, traveling exhibition on American democracy.
Pretty proud of everything that's going on with the Nebraska History Museum. Great leadership, top down, and this exhibit examines the bold experiment of creating government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Get over there. This is a Smithsonian traveling exhibit, so when you hear Smithsonian, it's pretty substantial and pretty neat to go see.
And a very timely exhibition to have here in Lincoln
Yep.
right now. They have a lot of other cool stuff over there too.
Multiple floors.
All right. Speaking of great museums here in Lincoln, we've got the International Quilt Museum, and they're going to celebrate National Quilting Day. This is an opportunity to go to the Quilt Museum for free.
Yeah, the Lincoln Quilters Guild's 50th anniversary involves the Dillo Conservation Workroom will be open to view collection, care, and action. Not a lot of times you get to go in that room behind the glass where all of the difficult and interesting work happens. I'm a big fan of the International Quilt Study Museum and hope you get out there on that specific Saturday in March.
We're going to have some demonstrations, lectures. You can even learn how to quilt. You ever wanted to quilt?
No, I'd rather cover up with a quilt or maybe hang it up on the wall and look at it. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. While you are at the Quilt Museum, make sure you check out Uncovering Black History, quilts from the collection of Carolyn Mazzalumi. And this is only up through March 25th, and it's a very interesting exhibit.
Yeah, the artist presents a variety of Black experiences, some celebrating the achievements of artists, poets, and adventurers, and others protesting the pervasive and harmful racism directed towards people of color in American society, all told through quilts. And just a neat experience, and again, great educational opportunity.
And most of the exhibitions they have there have that history kind of aspect where
They
you
do.
learn a lot about the world just through the quilts.
Yeah, you think about the family quilts out there. You hear about family quilts that have been passed on from generation to generation, and a different square is added per generation. So there are great stories to learn.
All right. If you want to be an artist yourself, head over to the Cornhusker and join artist in residence Tom Myers. And it's going to have a figure drawing class. So this artist in residence at the Cornhusker is so cool.
Sometimes I stop. I'm in that hotel a lot just because of what we do, but you walk by there and you see stuff. They'll have a live model workshop in limited size Attendees must be 18 years or older to participate. Charcoal and newsprint will be provided by the artist in use.
Fun opportunity. All right, let's move on to theater. There's a couple shows at Wesleyan we want to talk about. They usually do some kind of new and different things. This possibility of improvement, it deals with Roscoe and Carmen's lives, and it explores the effects alcoholism has had on their daily life. Sounds very
Yeah.
interesting for mature audiences.
Yeah, and real stories of alcoholics with permissions and slight alterations to preserve anonymity. Again, for mature audiences. Thank you for Nebraska Wesleyan for doing something a little bit different with a strong message.
And at the Miller Lab Theater, you can see the Shakespeare classic, Twelfth Night.
Yeah, Shakespeare loves octagons in this play of separating twins, ingenious pranks, and mistaken identities. Let your head spin with this adventure.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
One of your favorites.
One of
Not
my
his
favorites.
favorites, one of her favorites.
Omni Arts Nebraska is also known for doing some cutting edge plays, and this one is called Marjorie Prime. It's going to be at the Johnny Carson Theater.
Story of 85-year-old Marjorie, a jumble of disparate, fading memories, has a handsome new companion who's programmed to feed the story of her life back to her.
And this poses some interesting questions. If we were given the chance, what would we want to remember and what would we want to forget?
Wow,
Makes you think.
that's deep.
The play explores the mysteries of human identity and the limits, if any, of what technology can replace. You know, AI is becoming
Oh my gosh.
a big issue.
Yeah, big issue.
So, a very timely play. All right, Community Playhouse is presenting a Broadway hit, Sweeney Todd. This one is has a kind of a strange plot.
A little
but
edgy,
little-
a little different. Sweeney Todd is an unjustly exiled barber returning to his 19th century London, seeking vengeance against the judge who framed him.
He partners up with Mrs. Lovett, who has a pie shop, and the barber and the pie shop lady team up to produce an interesting offering that has people lining up in London.
Meat pies. I circled it and I said, no. Interesting. This is another recommended for audiences of 12 years and older.
Yes, but for some people, this is their favorite musical in terms of the music.
Yeah.
And I know the Playhouse has a great cast for this one. So
Well, there's a reason this comes back each and every year. I think we talk about Sweeney Todd in some capacity, in some form of art in our community.
the Tada Theater is presenting the Broadway Best Cabaret, some of your favorite Broadway tunes, along with some of Tada's finest vocalists.
And a glass of wine or a bottle at your table as well. It wouldn't be a cabaret without a little bit of drink and a little bit of fun.
Let's move on to music. St. Patty's Day is coming up.
Here it comes.
And you know, as much as I love Christmas carols, the music that surrounds St. Patrick's Day for me is my favorite.
I'm starting to
I
tap my toe right
love
now, right?
Irish music.
Yeah.
And one of our local favorites, Chris Sayer, is going to be at Deer Springs Winery on St. Patty's Day. Chris is amazing. He's
There's
a
a lot of-
local legend.
A lot of different instruments. He plays the button accordion, the concertina, right? Yes. The dulcimer, the guitar, the mandolin, and the musical saw.
The musical saw.
Is it a saw?
Yes, it's a saw.
Does it wiggle or does he?
You have to see it to believe
I
it.
should go.
Chris just performed again at
Yeah.
our Abe Lincoln celebration.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be a fun time out at Deer
Deer
Springs.
Springs, great destination, something a little bit different.
If you want to opt for a international Irish celebration, you can see Trinity, classically Irish, at the Lead Center.
It's the next big thing in Irish music. We've talked a lot about Irish traditions over the years. This is the next big thing. 3 accomplished young singers with performance experience, including Celtic Thunder, Riverdance, Celtic Woman, and much, much more. Again, this is where you want to be. Enjoy some of the great music according the Rocky Road to Dublin.
All right. Do you know the Irish toast? Grab your water.
Okay, grabbing it.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. I sounded Italian on that.
We'll forgive you for that.
Yum.
We've got a lot of music happening at church venues, and you know, churches are well known for having the best acoustics. So we've got 4 concerts coming up at Lincoln churches that we want to make sure people are aware of. The legendary Concordia Choir is on tour, and they're going to be at St. Paul.
Yeah, this is the Concordia Choir from Minnesota. Is one of America's finest choirs, seen nationwide on public television and heard in Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, and much other great venues. get out and see the St. Paul United Methodist Church, great music venue in the community.
Two concerts coming up at Vine Congregational on Twin Ridge Road. The Nebraska Trumpet Ensemble is going to present quartets and quintets on March 19th. Then on April 2nd, Nebraska Brass is presenting music from around the world.
Third series of their 35th anniversary season, Music from Around the World, will feature styles from different countries, truly representative of our great world.
Finally, First Presbyterian Church is continuing its Arts for the Soul series, presenting Sultans of String, and this sounds fabulous. Celtic reels, flamenco, gypsy jazz, Arabic, Cuban, and South Asian rhythms.
Yeah, the Sultans of Strings have hit #1 across Canada on top 10 national radio charts and received multiple awards and accolades at multiple levels, including a lot in Canada. This is kind of a unique, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I think.
And this concert is featuring their special Refuge Project, which centers around the positive contributions of refugees and new immigrants to the USA and Canada. So
Very fun.
That one is at First Presbyterian Church. And Lincoln Friends of Chamber Music is going to present something kind of rare at the Lead Carson Theater, the Valencia Baryton Project. The baryton is an ancient and little-known instrument, and Matthew Baker, who's going to perform,
Right.
it's one of only a handful of them in the performers in the world. I looked it up. It's a beautiful-looking instrument.
Yeah, and this will actually give the traditional string trio a new dimension because of that new instrument that's being brought in March 28th at 7:30 at the Lead Center.
Okay, and now for something completely different. Ladies and gentlemen, Cosmic Splatter Day.
This is, yeah.
Make it, take it. You can go in there and just make a mess, and it turns into a piece of art. It's magic.
They have their room available for this special glow-in-the-dark event, Cosmic Splatter. Get a chance to decorate an 8x10 canvas. There's space in the splatter room for spectators. Enter at your own risk. This sounds like a lot of fun. I've heard about this place, the Make It Take It Lincoln Craft Studio, and some fun things you can do there.
I was curious. I looked up splatter paint,
Yeah.
and there was some images of different artworks people have done.
Oh.
And you can achieve a lot of different looks just by splattering.
You know, there's a gentleman that tours this country, and I saw him years ago in Chicago at a conference, and he did a motivational speech, and the whole time he was grabbing paint and throwing it up on a canvas. And at the end of his talk, he had created this amazing portrait of famous people just by throwing. So he's made a profession out of that. It's pretty cool.
And I appreciate you didn't make any jokes about me splattering on the ice.
I couldn't do that. I did out in a boot, and that was about enough.
I appreciate that. Jeff, how can people find out more about what's going on?
Well, new website, lincoln.org. The new videos over there. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or stop down and see us at 7th and P. The good old-fashioned get to know somebody in person. We'd love to see you down there. You can also stop at our main office, the Visit Lincoln office with the Chamber of Commerce at 3 Landmark Center.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
As we go to break, we're going to take a look at the Lead Center's upcoming schedule, which includes the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater, the Book of Mormon Yo-Yo Ma. We'll run the list during the break, and then Charlie Schilling from Pinnacle Bank Arena and Pinewood Bowl will join us. Stay with us.
There's a saying, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. And from the outside looking in, you probably haven't seen much. Perhaps you've only heard of the cornfields and corn heads. Those are here, and here to stay. But look closer, and you'll discover where corn meets road is a group of people who make this place called Lincoln awesome. Here, strangers are welcomed as friends, and travelers are treated as locals. A place that when you leave, is somehow unexpectedly on your mind. Like other growing cities, we've got it all. Award-winning local breweries, captivating museums, curated fine art, innovative cuisine, charming shops and boutiques, a rich tradition of sports, and a diverse selection of entertainment. Experience is what matters. And community, well, that's our pride and joy. It's why 297,622 people, and counting, call it home. So when you come to Lincoln and discover everything this big little town in the Midwest has to offer, remember, with every interaction, moment, and experience you have, don't just look. See.
Welcome back to Out and About. Charlie Schilling from Pinnacle Bank Arena and Pinewood Bowl joins us now. And you have a new title, Assistant General Manager.
Yeah, we're really excited. Again, our team continues to evolve, and we're in a really good place at the arena.
Okay, we want to start by talking about the great article on the 10th anniversary of Pinnacle Bank Arena. That hardly seems possible. Kent Wolgamott kind of went through what's made the arena so great over the years.
Yeah, well, it's certainly been supported by all the fans. We want to thank all the people that have come to the building. It just is a beautiful room. It sets up really well, both for the artists and for the fans, and I think it just lends itself to really good experiences, and people keep coming back.
There are some great statistics in there. At Pinnacle Bank Arena, more than 120 concerts, plus all the other kinds of events. Then 1.6 million tickets sold and $102 million in ticket sales. That's amazing.
It's incredible. And if you add Pinewood Bowl and Pinnacle Bank Arena, you're talking about over $120 million in ticket sales, which is extraordinary for, as the article points out, we're the 152nd MSA market, and we are literally punching above our weight.
Another historical note also, I guess, I was one of 38,000 people who got our first COVID shots at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah, well, it certainly is a community center, and when the building was starting to come alive on paper with the architects in 2010, we didn't think about pandemics and doing vaccinations, but it served the community very well and very safely.
And it has become what was envisioned as a gathering place for Nebraska, not just for Lincoln.
Exactly. We're a destination. Certainly we have the University of Nebraska, we're the capital city, but we certainly have an entertainment district around the arena that lends itself to people wanting to come early, stay in the hotels, eat at the restaurants, and then hang out afterwards if that's the case.
Well, let's talk about one of the big shows that just occurred. Well, as I said, we're taping this the first Friday in March. February 16th was a big Blake Shelton show.
Blake was great. It was the Back to the Honky Tonk Tour. Now, what fans may not have known is that he was literally kicking off his tour. So he did 3 days of rehearsal, setting up the tour, building his stage, rehearsing with the band, and then performing. And of course, it did, snow, 10 inches of snow that day, which made it interesting. And people always want to know, is the show going to happen? Well, the show must go on, and it's instead of rain or shine, it's sort of snow or shine. But it was a near capacity crowd. The honky tonk theme that Blake had set up included building a stage that had bar stools all the way around the stage, and of course that included a bar. So it was a lot of fun for everybody, especially those that had the bar seats.
Well, let's talk about some of the upcoming shows. March 25th, Journey with Toto. Journey's one of the most legendary rock bands of all time.
Yeah, we've talked about them. It's their 50th anniversary. They've been around a long time. Ticket sales are going well. There are tickets available, so please come join us.
And Mercy Me then the very next day. This is Billboard named Mercy Me the top Christian artist of the 2010 decade.
Yeah, how about that? They're certainly well known within the Christian music circle. I think there is some crossover appeal, and we're looking forward to hosting them.
One of their well-known songs, "I Can Only Imagine," is now it's been made into a movie, the story of how that song came to be.
Yeah, it's an iconic song, and it's nice that they made a movie about it.
All right, another nod to the former manager of the arena, Tom Lorenz. He'll be there in spirit for Monster Jam.
He will. He will. We have great memories of Monster Jam. Of course, Tom was a big fan, so by virtue of that, I'm a big fan, and we look forward to having all sorts of families come out for that.
And one of the things that I've learned is that the drivers aren't the stars. It's the vehicles themselves have names and are the big attractions.
Gravedigger, I think, is probably the most popular name. We don't necessarily promote who's coming, but all of the big name trucks will be there.
Okay. And WWE SmackDown is coming up April 14th.
Yep. Again, a little family outing. Please come out. I have some family members that are huge WWE fans, and we know some folks will want to come be a part of that.
Then April 21st, Wiz Khalifa. This is one of the newer announcements.
Yep. So Wiz Khalifa, if you didn't know, again, I give you these little interesting facts. He has the 6th most watched video on YouTube of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of his songs is that popular. I think it's from the Fast and Furious movie theme that he was on the soundtrack, but he's incredible. We're looking forward to hosting him as well.
April 25th, then Shinedown, multi-platinum band coming.
Yeah, again, we love it when we can mix in a lot of different genres, and so it's really nice that we can host some old-fashioned rock and roll.
April 29th, then Morgan Wallen with Ernest and Bailey Zimmerman.
Morgan Wallen, the hottest artist out there. If you have a ticket, good for you. It's going to be incredible, and if you would please ensure that we have really nice weather. We think there'll be some opportunities to do some tailgating for that event.
Obviously, you can tell from the boot on my leg that not really good with the weather right now. So, but yeah, we'll hope it's a good day, not 10 inches of snow.
Fair enough.
There's more fighting coming up May 6th with the Spring Brawl.
Yep, our friends at Train are hosting their spring event. It's local MMA. It's a lot of fun, and get your tickets now.
Kenny Chesney then is coming with Kelsey Ballerina on May 13th. Kenny Chesney's been called the King of the Road and the People's Superstar.
Yeah, Kenny, again, if you refer to the article, we talked about him. He's one of those guys that plays stadium tours, and he's playing Little Lincoln at our wonderful arena.
I know there's a lot of anticipation also for Shania Twain then on May 19th. Is that one sold out?
Shania Twain is at full capacity right now. Again, for those that have tickets, they're going to have an amazing experience. We talked about her hair color and what color her hair would be since we saw her at the Grammys, but she's been around as long as Garth, and she's one of those iconic stars that has crossed over into pop.
Then August 29th, it's going to be PBA's 10th anniversary. Wow. Just seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it is really unbelievable. Don't blink. It's kind of like raising your kids. Before you know it, they're out of the nest. But yeah, we have a 10-year-old, not quite a teenager, and Zach Bryan is just going to be extraordinary. Again, it's one of those shows that we've talked about his career. He was kind of unknown, and now he's known, and he went from 0 to 100 in seconds.
Okay, let's move on to Pinewood Bowl. So far, 7 shows have been announced, starting with Chicago on May 12th. 11 #1 singles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chicago Transit Authority.
Chicago Transit Authority was the very first album.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is about these bands that have been around for 50 years, but I can tell you Chicago sounds amazing, and it's incredible how they can hold their sound.
They have a Chicago street dedicated in their honor.
There we go.
That's only fitting, huh?
Yeah.
And their record sales topped 100 million.
Incredible.
Incredible, yeah. All right, Tracy Lawrence and Gary Allan are coming then on May 18th.
Well, we talked about Blake being a honky-tonk guy. These are 2 honky-tonk singers. If you read their bios, that's kind of their flavor. And I was reading that Gary Allan has 26 singles on the Billboard Hot Country chart. So these guys have been around, and we know that they're going to entertain the fans.
a good roots rock performance coming up July 15th. This was one of my husband's favorites, the Tedeschi Trucks Band.
One of my favorites as well, truth be told. Tedeschi Trucks, if you didn't know, it's a married couple made up of Susan Tedeschi and Derek Trucks. They formed in 2010, and the next year their album won all the Grammys in the blues category, but they're a blues band. In fact, if you like the Allman Brothers, Derek Trucks' dad is Butch Trucks, and he was the drummer for the
I thought
band.
it was his nephew. But
Nephew, I think you're right.
Okay, Butch
Thank
Trucks'
you.
nephew. And then,
Yes.
Derek actually played with Allman Brothers
He
for a while.
did.
So.
Yeah, he's an amazing guitarist, amazing musician, and together their sound is incredible. I think at some point they have well over 10 people on the stage performing.
Wow, it's great sound.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've heard them before. Little New Orleans is coming to Pinewood on August 11th.
Yes, a little flavor. In fact, lots of flavor. August 11th is Trombone Shorty and Ziggy Marley, as well as Mavis Staples and Robert Randolph. So yeah, literally you have many different flavors here. If you didn't know, Ziggy Marley is Bob Marley's son. Trombone Shorty's from New Orleans. Mavis Staples is the iconic Chicago legend, not only gospel, Americana, but R&B as well. And then Robert Randolph is this classic, amazing blues artist.
August 18th, The Head and the Heart with Father John Misty. Tell me about this performance.
Yeah, again, these are packages that really add value. We say in the business that 1 + 1 = 3, but we know that this will create an event. You've got The Head and the Heart, which is an indie folk band that formed in 2009 out of Seattle. And then this Father John Misty, who's actually a gentleman named Jay Stillman, and he's a singer-songwriter. Interestingly, I read that he contributed to the albums of Beyonce, Lady Gaga, and Post Malone. So
Interesting.
he's quite a songwriter in his own right.
The two latest announcements we're going to talk about next. August 20th, the 4-time Grammy Award winners, Doobie Brothers. They were Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees just last year.
They were, in fact, again, like Journey, they are extending their 50th anniversary tour. Some of the band members include Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, whose voice everybody can just hear in their head that understands he was part of the band, Pat Simmons, and John McPhee. So it's a lot of the originals performing from the Doobie Brothers Band.
And this is the first time they've been back on the road in 25 years.
It's been a while, yes.
But they're having fun.
You know, it's going to be one of those capacity crowds at Pinewood Bowl. Again, we'll put you in charge of the weather, but I'm picturing a perfect summer day in August.
No ice, no ice.
Yeah.
I can guarantee no ice. Well, I better not say that.
Yeah,
all right.
fair enough.
August 27th then is the Lincoln debut of the Black Keys.
The Black Keys, they are an incredible band. They are a duo, but they are backed with some additional musicians. But Dan Auerbach and Patrick Carney make up this rock sound that is extraordinary. In fact, Dan Auerbach produces a lot of music for some other famous artists, but their sound draws at least certainly some of the famous artists as well.
Well, and I know a lot of more announcements are coming up in the very near future, so
Yeah.
you can find out the latest at pinnaclebankarena.com and pinewoodbowltheater.com. So lots of hard work going on over
Thank
at PBA and Pinnacle,
Yeah.
or and Pinewood.
Yeah, we're very busy. We got a great staff, and things are coming together well. But yes, more announcements to come.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
that is all for this edition of Out and About. I want to again thank Charlie and Jeff for joining me. And as we close, I invite you to stay tuned to find out about some of the events coming up at the Lancaster Event Center, including the popular Husker Lawn and Leisure Show and the I Love My Dog Expo. Then we'll run a listing of all the events that we talked about in today's show. Thank you for joining us, and remember, even if you break your ankle, you can still go out and about.